Hey, what's going on, Internet? Welcome to another edition of the Magic Duels Origins First Takes. Today we're going to do the mono red deck. And it may look a little bit different from maybe lists you've seen online or have played against. So, I mean, not too much. It's nothing special, but we'll see. Alright, real quick. 4 Fiery Impulse, 4 Titan Strength, 2 Abbot of Keral Keep, 3 Ember Hauler, 4 Mage-Ring Bully, 4 Subterranean Scout, 2 Infectious Bloodlust, 2 Ravaging Blaze, 4 Twin Bolt, 1 Chandra, 3 Thopter Engineer, 2 Exquisite Firecraft, 2 Embermaw Hellion, and 23 Mountains. So, real quick, let's just go into why we're not going on the mono 1-drop route. Like, no Glory Chaser, no Arsonist, no Denizens. I mean, no Call the Full Moon. No Dragon Fodder. I mean, really, this is a little bit slower, but it has a little bit more reach. You basically, want to hit 2-drop and clear it away for 2-drop. Either, using a Fiery Impulse, a Twin Bolt, making it so they can't trade with an Infectious Bloodlust, or giving it unblockable with the Subterranean Scout. As you can see, everything will be made unblockable with the Subterranean Scout, except for the high end with Embermaw Hellion. And really, the reason the mono red deck is built this particular way is because I wanted to play with Embermaw Hellion. I mean, unlike, other 5-drops, I mean, you get value, you theoretically get value from the turn you play it, if you already have a board. So, but, if you ever untap with them, then you can start doing, really dirty stuff, like, your Twin Bolts are 2 and 2 instead of, 1 and 1. Just adding +1 to everything else. Like, he's not actually a 5/5. He doesn't. It's other red sources, so you need 2 Embermaws on the field for him to hit for 5. That's pretty self-explanatory. You see some lists run the gear per gear crafter because our 3-spot for mono red isn't really all that great unless you want to play a shit ton of auras, or you want to play an Acroan Sergeant, but that's pretty bad for a 3-drop. I mean, a 2/2 first strike, renown 1. I mean, it's okay. But I actually like the Thopter Engineer a little bit better because that little 1/1 has haste. So you can theoretically, burn them out or burn them down real quick with the flurry of Titan Strengths on that little 1/1. I mean, that 1/1 even, you get the guaranteed 1 damage, in the vast majority of cases. You don't see, you see Thopters, but you usually don't see him too often on defense. And the 1/3 plays defense a little bit better. I mean, yeah, you lose out on the 2/1. But, you can throw a Bloodlust on this lady, and she's a little bit more resilient. She'd be a 3/4. Other things, the Infectious Bloodlust, you don't have to run 4. I only run 2 because, the first one will replace itself. Ask yourself, how many times do you actually need this thing to replace itself? And do you need to draw this card every game? I'd like it to replace itself at least once if, the worst case scenario happens, the 2-for-1. Once it's already enchanted. But, if you're having to replace it again, you're probably not in good shape. The games could go long, but that's why we have, ways to burn them out. So, and I would rather, I started out with 4 Bloodlust and 2 Titan Strength, but I went up to 4 Titan Strength and 2 Bloodlust because I want more reliably turn on Spell Mastery, and I think, the Scry and Titan Strength is pretty valuable. Speaking of Spell Mastery, we just run 2 of the Ravaging Blaze, kind of why we run 23 land to not only support the Embermaw Hellion, but also, to make this a little bit better in case we flood out. And so we have, 8, 12, 14 other spells. So usually by the time you need to cast a Ravaging Blaze for its Spell Mastery to burn them out, you should have Spell Mastery available. And also, you look at the curve, you're like, holy shit, you're still running 23 lands at the curve like that. You still want to play multiple spells in the same turn. That's a lot of 2-drops. You don't, you could theoretically go down to 22 and maybe put in another Bloodlust, but I don't know. I'm kind of comfortable at 23. And I thought about a Rogue's Passage, but I don't know. Like, you know, going 22 in a Singleton Rogue's Passage. But, you know, that's a lot of mana investment to just make. You know, most of our guys are going to be, you know, 2 power if we're Rogue's Passaging them. Like, usually, you know, they start at 2 power, but we have ways to buff them up. Whereas if you're using a Rogue's Passage, that's usually the only thing you're going to be doing to that dude that turn. And if there's ever a deck for Chandra, it's the straight up mono red deck. So again, a 2 power, you can make her unblockable with Scout, and then hopefully post combat you have another spell to untap her, so she can flip. Speaking of Scout, like I'm sure most of you know this, but for those that don't, the Subterranean Scout can target itself the turn it comes into play, and then you can slap an Infectious Bloodlust on it, which gives it haste. So you have a little hasty 4/2 there. And then we have the prowess guys, the Mage-Ring Bully and the Abbot of Keral Keep. Like I said, you usually throw down a 2-drop and then find a way to force your 2-drop through, whether, like I said, through a Scout, maybe even, you know, playing a Hauler and sacrificing it immediately, Impulse, Twin Bolt. And then, you know, these prowess guys really add up the damage. And then, you know, you have the Abbot. When it comes into play, exile top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card. Like, if you don't have, like, if this is your only 2-drop you can play, then just fucking play it. Like, yeah, I mean, on turn 2, I mean, like, yeah, you lose out on the exile card, but it's better than just not doing anything and trying to, like, go full greed. Like, even on a Subterranean Scout, if you have to just play naked Subterranean Scout on turn 2, then go do it. Get your damage in. And that's really all there is to it. Keep it low. Like I said, I didn't really want to go with the 1-drops into, you know, the 4 Infectious Bloodlust, the 3 Call to Full Moons. I mean, you do want to play, you know, multiple spells in a turn later on, like, you know, on turn 3, turn 4. So I don't think this is really good for this style of deck. I mean, and the Goblin Glory Chaser, like, if you really wanted to play it, like, you can just, you know, I would just take out these Thopter Engineers. Like, just make a straight 3-for-3 swap. Yes, Glory Chaser is great on turn 1. Sort of good on turn 2. But after that, like, you know, casting on turn 3, turn 4, turn 5. Like, even if you can give it haste with the Bloodlust, like, it's still only, you know, a 3/2. So you're still going to have to, you know, do something else to get it through. I mean, that's just a lot of work. I think, you know, in my opinion, you can disagree. A Thopter Engineer on turn 3 is going to be better than a Glory Chaser on turn 3. Just because in most cases, you're going to get that 1 colorless damage with evasion. And, you know, there isn't that much, you know, instant speed removal. I mean, yeah, there's Disperse, Twin Bolts, and whatnot. But, you know, you can play around that. And, you know, this won't die to a single Twin Bolt like the Gearcrafter will. Like, you know, they'll get the Thopter, and maybe they'll get a Subterranean Scout, or the other half will just go to your head. So, just take this out. So it's not really like a full-on face deck. Like if you came here from Hearthstone, this has a little bit more in common with I guess a rogue deck than a face hunter deck. Like, you know, you wait for a nice turn, and you can just, you know, just throw a flurry of spells and burst them down, you know, from a high life total, rather than, you know, constantly doing 2 a turn, 3 a turn, 3 a turn, 4 a turn, like that. And that's also like, yeah, we have a low curve. I didn't play the Avaricious Dragon. Stop listening. Because, you know, you tend to want to hold on to cards until, you know, you can have, you know, the one big turn. So, you know, you don't want to have to, you know, have a potentially dead card because, you know, you have a handful of Titan Strengths or Ravaging Blazes or Twin Bolts just to, you know, get a 4/4 dragon out there. So I don't think the Avaricious Dragon really fits in this deck either. It would fit in the, you know, the mono 1-drop Auras deck. But I mean, yeah, that deck will get you a lot of free wins, but also, I mean, you know, if that deck doesn't get a good draw, or, you know, they deal with your first 1 or 2 creatures, then I think that deck has a little bit of a hard time coming back. So at least now we're starting to get matched against 40s. This is a very slow hand. I really wish I had a 2-drop, but I think I'll just keep this. He's mulliganing to 6. Like 2-drop's ideal. There's a bunch in there. But you know, we could play the control game, I guess. I mean, theoretically, we already have 6 points of burn in our hand. So yeah, so on turn... elves again. On turn 4, if we actually do draw the Subterranean Scout, like I said, we can make it self-unblockable and give it haste with the Bloodlust. So I wonder now that we're, you know, sort of... Actually, I'll probably just give the Mage-Ring Bully haste, depending on what he plays. I hope he just goes, Forest Jagged Scar? I don't know. But no, that's not happening. Alright, Visionary. I have Bone Splinters. Or Thornbow, yeah, that's something. So the question is, do I Bloodlust the Bully? Yeah, I think I do. I mean, it's not going to trade for anything. Like, he can't triple block it if I do this, but I will force a block. And, you know, if he does Bone Splinters it... I mean, if he wants to triple block this Thopter Engineer... Nah, that's not good, because he can just go 1-2 on the Thopter Engineer and chump block the Bully, but he's just going to take it. It's fine by me. Does he play? Is this another? Yeah. So he has the Bone Splinters. So at least we're getting back the Bloodlust. Hell yeah, I want to use that. So that's something that can go on our little Thopter guy. The only downside about the Thopter is the Embermaw will not help it. Speaking of Embermaw, if we draw a mountain, we're just gonna slam it because it makes that hit for 2. Especially while he's tapped out, he's struggling to find green mana. So he's just gonna take another 3, which is fine by me. Like I said, we have 6 points of burn in our hand. If the Embermaw lives this turn, we just win. He'd have another Bone Splinters, but that's not the end of the world if he does. Because now this is 4, this is 5. He needs the Bone Splinters now. Alright, so the game's over. Since there's no real instant speed stuff. Did I do my math wrong? Something happened there. Is it because it wasn't split up? I'm confused about what happened there. I'm gonna have to rewatch the video. I don't know what the fuck just happened there. Anyways, it worked out. He went to -2? Did he just took the hit from the Embermaw? Alright, so I guess the Twin Bolt only did 2 damage and not the 4. So I guess I do have to split it up. But I have to rewatch that. So yeah, that's kind of that's disappointing. I could have swore when I was testing this the Twin Bolt would do 2 and 2 even if I only targeted 1 creature. But I guess that's not the case. I don't know. Maybe I'm just out of it. That's it. I'll have to rewatch that. I don't quite know what the fuck happened that last turn. Because in my mind, that was 9 points of burn right there, then 1 more point with the Thopter token. And that dude got really cut on green mana, so... But whatever, he's an elf player. I guess those are the people we scorn now, right? No. Double 5-drop hand, 1 lander, nope. This is an awful hand. Oops. But I don't think we can go to 5 on the play here. We're just gonna have to play catch up, or just hope we you know, hit a 2-drop. Got another elf boy here. I'm not that concerned. Let's leave Twin Bolt up. If he wants to throw an aura on it, then I'll just blow it up. So a good old 2-for-1. Alright, there's our bully. Now, unfortunately, we may have to blow this to get him through. This is Celestial Flare time. There's nothing I can do about that. Mage-Ring bully must attack. And red deck, I mean, yeah, 23 lands, but you know, 6 of my 9 cards after a mull to 6 being lands. That's the stainless special right there. But at least, you know, this Ravaging Blaze will gradually get better. Oh, this is awful. Do I want a 2-for-1 myself, or do I let him eat the Mage-Ring bully for free? Or I can just play Embermaw. Now it's just a straight up 1-for-1 trade. So I guess it's a good thing we drew all that land. Alright, so at least he knows what Embermaw does. But he won't turn off damage effects. Alright, what auras are you going to throw in the hunt? Zendikar is royal. It is not good for you, pal. Alright, let's get in there. A little Thopter that could. I mean, I don't know what he's doing with this Primal Hunt Beast. Like, you can't keep taking this damage, dude. I mean, I just would have traded it off. He's obviously... He doesn't have auras. There we go. Like, if he had an aura, then he would have played it, so... Alright, so this guy sort of knows what he's doing. Alright, so there's this dude. Let's see, I currently would need a top deck mountain to deal with an Outland Colossus. But I think I can beat a combat trick. I could have a fog. Do I want a Firecraft now? Let's see what happens. Because I may need to save one of my guys from a giant growth or a titanic growth. Alright, so he's just actually just going to take it and then die. Can we BM? Nope. because this would cost too much. So yeah, so that guy was he just took too much damage. Sometimes you just gotta chump block, dude. We're still angry Shame Warden. Oops. Alright, one more with the mono red. I think you guys got a little taste. I mean, yeah, I kind of got lucky there, top decking that Embermaw after drawing, you know, 6 of my top 9 were lands. I mean, given what he played, I mean, what I could have done, I could have 2-for-1 myself. I could have to kill that Primal Hunt Beast, because what I could have done is just, you know, targeted my own Mage-Ring bully with that Ravaging Blaze for X equals 0, and then, you know, would have got the Prowess trigger. Luckily, we drew the Embermaw, so it would have hit for 3. I mean, even Titan Strength would have gotten around that, because it would have made the Mage-Ring bully a 4, 5, 6/4. I looked away. I didn't even see this guy's rank. 5-lander, nope. 2-lander, yep. So the plan here is to go Hauler into Scout, Titan Strength. Alright. And these Haulers can also be cashed in for damage later. And I actually don't mind slapping a Bloodlust on the Hauler because I can just sack it. And then the Bloodlust goes to the grave from the battlefield. Hey, Impulse. Now if he actually plays a dude that I can Impulse, I'll probably just Impulse it. Instead of scouting my... Oh yeah, this is an easy Impulse. Because I don't want him to throw an aura on it. So I'm just going to Impulse Hauler. And then next turn I can scout one of the Haulers. So, you get your incremental damage, and then you usually, you have enough burn to burn them out from, a fairly decent life total. Another damage effects guy. Like, here's how I feel about damage effects. So, like, let's say I bought like a DVD or a Blu-ray, and for whatever reason, like, it just had automatic like Korean subtitles. Alright, is this a flare turn? Well, I'm definitely going to Titan Strength, because he can't... No, he could actually have a reprisal. I don't want to get anything reprisaled. Not yet. So I'm playing a little bit slow, but And I'm actually just going to Firecraft face. We're going to go Face Hunter here. Alright, I don't know what you're doing, pal. This might actually just be lethal. 4, 6, 8, 10. I don't even need a Titan Strength. Yeah, like, if I was watching a DVD or a Blu-ray and, like, the subtitles were in Korean, yes, like, it doesn't... I would just figure out a way to, like, get rid of it, even though, like, it doesn't really affect the game too much. Like, I don't understand, like, why these guys just don't find a way to get rid of it. In my mind, that guy 100% had a reprisal. So I don't think Titan Strength was the play there. But as you can see, we did 10 damage in one turn with 3 cards. So no change at 35. Well, we've almost completed the journey to 40. So it should take, theoretically, if we go undefeated, 5 more games, 2 more videos, 3 games apiece. Anyways, that's the mono red deck. You don't need to see any more of that. 25 minutes should be good enough. You saw how it worked. Like I said, a little bit different than the all-in one-drop auras deck. But I think it's solid. I don't think it's the greatest thing in the world, but I don't think it's terrible either. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Have a good Monday evening, everyone. And turn off damage effects. Like I said, you know, it shouldn't be that hard to just figure out, like, hey, can I turn this off? Because this is really annoying. Like, I can't imagine people not being annoyed by that. It's fucking mind-boggling. But, alright, later, everyone.